Oh, where is it all going wrong for Coventry? Mark Robbins is under pressure, some fans say. Is that fair? Well, we've got Tom back to review it all. Welcome back to Where Sky Blues Walk. Well, not sure what we can say to that performance against Norwich. There's lots I'm sure Tom wants to say. First of all, thank you so much for joining us on Where Sky Blues Walk. It's the quickest, most compact review of all things Coventry City on the internet. So you're very welcome to join us. We're asking you this week to reflect on the transfer window and give it a grade. We'll ask Tom to do that shortly as well. Also look at Coventry fixtures to come up and have a think about away day stories. What's the worst thing that's happened to you on an away day? Oh goodness me, Tom. Where do we start with that Norwich game? I'll let you take the floor, I think, rather than ask any pertinent question.
It was so poor. It was terrible. I mean, our first half, I thought we had the better chances in the first half, I will say. But and then that second half, I mean, in like the 70th minute, they were just passing it around for fun. I mean, the amount of times Bidwell lost his man, which also did cause the goal, it was terrible. I mean, the atmosphere it soon turned sour after the goal. Obviously, not signing anyone on deadline day didn't help either. It was a shambles, really. I mean, I can't say Norwich were amazing. Fair play, they won the game, but I didn't think they were very good. I mean, I look at our stats after the game. We had 15 shots. Not one of them go in. We're not scoring enough. We're sloppy in defence. The midfield we didn't fill on deadline day. So it's not looking good at the moment, but hopefully after international break have a bit of a reset and hopefully things can get going. But at the moment, yeah, that Norwich game was very poor. Very poor.
Yeah, it was 2 wins now out of 10 or something like that from carrying on from last year as well. Do you understand why some people are saying Robbins now has to sort this out or questions will be asked?
100%. I mean, I would never call for Robin's head. I think I said this in the last week as well. But I can understand frustrations. I mean, the thing is, they were promoting it with season tickets as like playing up, going up sort of thing, Premier League packages. And after the game, I saw Robin's interview and he was saying like, we're getting too ahead of ourselves, stay grounded, that sort of thing. But the club were promoting it as going up and like Premier League packages and whatnot. And at the moment, they're not fulfilling with it, I must say. But look, I mean, Robbins has got a big job to do. He's got a whole new coaching team. We've got 20 coaches now. I mean, we got rid of AD, which I still don't really get. We got rid of Dennis Lawrence, who's doing it in America now, so fair play. But we've got new coaches. We've got an international break. He's got a lot to do. But I mean, I'm not questioning him just yet, but I can understand the frustrations around many fans. But
okay. If we have a look at some of the takes on that, actually, you actually summarised lots of what people have said. There was lots of attacks on Josh Eccles following the game. Curtis says, imagine being Josh Eccles. He's a Brindley Woods lad, probably lives and breathes playing for the club and gets it. Yet week in, week out, your own pile into you and use you as a scapegoat. The fans will sing for lads around you who are putting in half the shit that you do. Dazza also says, Eccles was awful today. Loses the ball and constantly waves his hands in the air. Get back and win it. His passing is mostly sideways, mostly backwards. Sheaf makes him look good. Where do you stand on this debate?
oh, it's a big one with Eccles. I mean, I do feel like he's a bit of a scapegoat. I mean, the thing is with Eccles, I do really like him. He has his moments, don't get me wrong. But I would say about the game yesterday that him and Torp were two of the best players on the pitch. I mean, I do agree with that, with the first comment that he's a bit of a scapegoat, but I would still play him in midfield. I do think he's a better centre mid than he is a right back, 100%. I don't think he's a better right back. I don't agree with that comment. I don't think he was awful yesterday either. I thought he was one of the better players, but he just throws arms around a little bit. But I do think he can be a good leader as well. I did see him, shouting a lot, getting them going. I mean, he was one of the only players that really put in a shift yesterday. I do like Eccles, but he can be a bit better at times. But overall, I like him. But there is work to be done. He can improve. But he lives and breathes the club, and I like that about him.
Okay. All right. You mentioned about the coaching staff. Matt says the coaching staff need looking at. Not been the same since Dennis left. Saka looking like he'll be out for a month. What do you make of this coaching staff debate? There's quite a few on Twitter saying the coaching needs looking at. We've got all these new coaches. What is actually going on in training? What do you say to that? I'll bring in Claudio as well and have an opinion on it. I've got it. Tom first.
Oh, sorry. But with the coaching staff, I mean, I took it went quite downhill after Dennis left, to be honest. But I mean, getting rid of AD as well, I didn't really get that decision. It came as a massive shock the morning I saw it. We've got this whole new coaching staff in. I mean, obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's not looking too good at the moment. But I feel like the coaching staff, there's still work to be done. But I mean, we have enough of them that we should be doing a bit more, to be honest. But from what I've seen in the unseen videos, they all look like they get along well. They're steady, but it's not really showing on the pitch at the moment. But there's still a long season ahead. But I'm hoping that coaching staff will come good.
Some of the comments, Claudio, that were said. More criticism of Robbins here. When you take off a player who's playing good for one who's blowing out there, this happens. Robbins, you had plenty of time to get a replacement for Sheaf. 4-4-2 looks like it needs to be played again for us just to stay mid-table this season. How do you react to that?
Yeah, there's a bit of a swell growing now where people are starting to question Robbins and his decisions all of a sudden. I know we've lost 8 out of the last 12 in the league if you take the back end of last season. We've lost about, I think Tom might agree, 4 or 5 at home as well, which is not great because we were quite strong at the start of last season at home. And yet we've not won away what seems like an eternity. And we're not playing enough attractive football, I believe, with the players we've got. And his decisions yesterday were strange because I know obviously Sheaf was meant to be playing and got injured and couldn't play. But then when we were struggling, he didn't really change a lot. He brings players on. He doesn't change the group tactically on the pitch. If we've got the starting 11, he doesn't move anybody out of position to another position to nullify the opposition, if that makes any sense. We sort of do like for like substitutions. And we did at half time, Norwich changed the team, basically. I think they brought 2 players on. We had to take Sakamoto off because he was injured, and he just did a like for like. But then it took an age before we actually changed anything tactically. And by then, we were 1 down, and we were struggling yesterday, struggling big time. It's not been a great start to the season, basically. So it's the international break's probably come at the right time.
It is a bizarre one. Not just the results, but the performances just have not been there.
It's been flat. It's been flat. I think Tom's been to every game, and it has been flat. And it feels like we can't get going. You know, we just can't seem to get going, apart from a few minutes against Oxford. And had it not been for a horrendous back pass, we wouldn't have won that game either. So. Yeah. It's not the start I expected, and I've seen the comments about Dennis Lawrence not being there. Yeah, we haven't won many since he left, and I think we won the game at Huddersfield straight after the Wolves match, and that's about it. I think maybe one other lead, sorry, and there's Oxford. Yeah, so yeah, we've won about 4, but it looks disjointed. There's something not right. We've got a brand new coaching staff, and it feels like there's a lot of input from everybody. And maybe it's all getting a bit confused. Something's not right. It's all a bit flat.
The last tweet we looked at there says about the 40 million spent. It's just what I want to switch now to talk about, given that the window is shut. The spendings, if we have a look at the spendings from each club, it'll come as no surprise to you, if you'll know that Coventry are the 6th highest spenders this season. But if you look at across the balance sheet, what is surprising to me is that in terms of the balances, is that you are behind Borough, the second kind of worst off in terms of money coming in to balance it out. So does this, silly question is Tom, but does this just add the pressure to Robbins that you can't blame the hierarchy? They have backed him in this window. The money has been spent. with not much being recouped back. So the expectation level will automatically go up, and he's in a bit of trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the transfer window was quite disappointing in the end. I mean, we've spent money, 6 high spenders. We spent a lot of money. Mark has said he was backed by Doug, which I do think he was backed, but I just don't get the centre mid position. That's the one I can't get my head around. I mean, we brought in another striker in Norman. He looks really good, don't get me wrong. That was a bit of a random one. But the main thing we needed on deadline day was a centre mid. And what did we do? We sell Palmer, which apparently he forced his way out, but we didn't have a replacement for him, and it's showing. And we've got to stick with that for the rest of the season. Because yesterday, at the game, the only midfield option that comes on is Allen, and it's just not good enough. But we didn't fill that centre mid position. We're all relying on Sheaf to come back, but I don't think Sheaf comes to fix all the issues. We didn't get another left back in. We could have done with another right back, maybe another centre back, even though we've already got 4 of them. But the pressure's going to get there on Robbins eventually. But hopefully, international break, definitely the right time, as Claudio said, reset and come back stronger. But I'm a bit disappointed at the end of the transfer window, I will say.
Claudio, do you echo that? Were you surprised that no more new faces arrived in that last week?
Well, from what I gather, we were trying to get 2 in right at the last minute, and then the owner put the kibosh on it for whatever reason. Didn't want to. I think it was almost done deals, and basically they wanted a bit more, and he said no. So he said, and that was it. End of deals, which is fair enough, really, because I suppose if you've got a strategy, a pay scale, you shouldn't really break it if you want to stay true to it. But have we spent? I don't know what Tom thinks. Have we spent 40 million, whatever, over the last 2 seasons just to get to where we are now, as in terms of being in a position where we might be able to challenge for playoffs? Is that how far we were behind? So now do we need to spend another 10, 15 million to try and secure a playoff place? It's difficult because we've signed a lot of forwards, and but it's all right signing forwards, but you need somebody giving the ball. So basically, we are missing, and I've said this for weeks now, a dynamic, hard to get hold of, a dynamic midfielder who can carry the ball and bring his forwards into the game. Gustavo Hamer type player, and that's what we're missing. We are missing Gustavo Hamer more than anybody. I mean, Gyökeres was great; he could turn a goal from nothing, but a lot of the balls he was getting were from Gus. And it's. I mean, we know that playoff season, the pair of them were getting us to the playoffs. At one stage, it was either Gus scoring or Hamer or Gyökeres scoring, and that's what we're missing. But those players come at a premium, don't they? They're not easy to find. So and that's what we're lacking, as far as I'm concerned.
We have a look at the ins for a second. Then, where has that money? Where's that money gone? Radoni, Thomas Asante, Norman, who we spoke about, of course, last week, Tom, Binks, and Dovin as a keeper. You would say on paper that has made you stronger, would you not? Certainly the goalkeeper, Asante will bag some. Binks has been decent, but in terms of numbers, there's the other clubs that have spent less that have got more in. So, Tom, where do you sit on the acquisitions that the recruitment team have done here in terms of quality first and then numbers?
I definitely think all the signs we've made have been pretty decent so far. I'm happy we signed Dovin. I think he's been pretty good in goal. I can't blame him for the goal yesterday. It was a deflection. It was poor defending as well, but he looks pretty solid so far. Radoni, I noticed he's struggling quite a lot at the moment, but he looked very good in pre-season. He's had about 1 good game since starting, but he'll come good. Asante looks really good coming off the bench. Same with Norman so far. And I'm happy with what brings back as well, because I think he's solid. I would start him with Bobby Thomas every game, but it's still just down to that centre mid position, really. But it didn't happen, so.
And then Claudio, of course, the outgoings is also what we must look at in terms of reviewing a window. Were there any on here that you were disappointed with? Do you think they could have done more in terms of structuring new deals, or are you happy to see the back of this one?
well, Callum was going, so he couldn't stop that anyway. There's no way we're going to pay him what Sheffield want. We're going to pay him. Liam Kelly, his legs had gone. Simon Moore was just warming the bench. I mean, I could have played instead of Simon Moore because he never got on the pitch. Casey Palmer forced to move. It was interesting what Robin said in the post-match interview, that he didn't look right on Tuesday night when he played. You could tell something had happened. So basically, he knew he'd been tapped up. Matty, his legs are gone and he's doing okay at Charlton, which is his standard now. I was surprised to see Jack and Ryan go out on loan because I like those two lads. And I'm thinking our squad is no bigger than last season now. We've got the same amount of players, which we were saying we needed at least 4 players. So to boost it up. So, yeah. And Lewis Binks, well, he was here last season. I'm glad he stayed because he's a decent defender. He's a good lad. Yeah, so it's... there's enough there to be in and around the playoffs, but not the way we're playing at the minute. Yeah, simple, really.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I called it in the first one, didn't I? I said all this expectation is going to get to players' heads.
Well,
okay.
It's interesting, Mark, because we're playing in front of 27,000 a week now, and it's some players, it's new to them. A lot of those players are playing have never played in front of those sort of home crowds. And they're getting a good away following, and it is expectations, and it can swallow some players up. They get the jelly legs. Tom's smiling because he's got Oasis tickets and I haven't, so I'm going to have to pick a bone with him.
I mean, he apologised about that.
Can I just say, he wasn't even born when they split up, but anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, so expectations are high, and I think it can get to certain players, and they have to rise to it now.
Okay. Let's have a look at your next set of fixtures then. Where's the win? Where's the next win coming from? Then Coventry away, then up to a juicy tie against Tottenham in the cup, but then back to the league. You've got Swansea at home, Blackburn at home, and Sheffield Wednesday at home before the next break. So you would look at those 3 fixtures, those home ones, wouldn't you, and say, right, come on, that is where Coventry kick on. 3 winnable home games. Yes, trips to Leeds in between there, but you look at those 3 and think the same as I do, that this is where there's an opportunity there, isn't it?
I think from memory, we didn't lose to any of those fixtures last season, did we?
You didn't lose to Leeds away, did you? That was a spicy, tempestuous game, wasn't it?
We won at Watford. I think we won at Watford, didn't we?
Yeah, we won 2-1.
Yeah, we won at Watford. We beat Blackburn at home or drew with them. We beat them, didn't we? I think.
Beat them 1-0.
Swans we may have drawn, I think.
I think
So
1-0.
yeah, on paper they're all games we could win, but you know, and the Tottenham one's a cert, isn't it? Surely.
Madison back to where it all started. Okay,
So, it's probably not all doom and gloom just yet, but we just need a couple of wins to lift the spirits, don't we? And there's no reason why we can't get to Watford after the international break and sneak a win against a team who are hit and miss just like we are.
We have a great record there as well.
Yeah, we do. You do.
right, let's get to grade the transfer window before we shut down the conversation once and for all. Tom, out of 10.
6.
Claudio?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think you're right, Tom. I think it was an 8 out of 10 for the first couple of weeks, and it gone down to a 6 now.
Yeah.
All right, in the comments below, can you improve on a 6? Let us know. And finally, we're asking for your away day memories. What's the worst that you've had? As we go across the whole network here, asking all the teams for their worst memories. Tom, what sticks in your mind for an away day you wouldn't want to repeat again?
In terms of score, Birmingham away last season was up there. We were shambolic and lost 3-0. Local derby, it was embarrassing. As journey, I would say Burnley away 2 seasons ago. It took about 3.5 hours to get there and back. We lost in the 88th minute 1-0 from a corner, and there was one exit to the away end, and everyone trying to get out at the same time was awful. It has to be Burnley, yeah.
Okay, can you beat that, Claudio?
I've got 53 years to look back on.
There must be one memory you have from the game that you think, oh, God.
In terms of, away from home, I would say Wickham about 10 years ago. It was away from home. It was the coldest night ever. It was just freezing cold. It was just, I think, because it's just so cold and open. It's just horrible. But I don't think I think we drew, actually. We definitely didn't lose. We never lose against Wickham. And also Oldham, which has got to be the coldest ground in England. It's all down to how cold I am, but we did win there by a Tommy Hutchison goal in the FA Cup in 1980. But that is the coldest. In terms of performance, I could go West Brom 7-1 away, Everton 6-0 away. These are all in the 70s. So yeah. So I've seen some howlers. You've got it all to come yet, Tom.
Brilliant.
All right, if you can beat any of that, drop us a colour. Thank you both for joining us. Enjoy the break. Have a week off. I'm talk about Coventry, and we'll see you the other side of the next game. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Claudio.
Pleasure.